An instructional video for making the small Correllian pamphlets. Each of the Correllian pamphlets comes in two versions, one that has page guides and one without. The names are very similar, but the file that is without the page guides ends in an X. Once you get the pages printed and cut, it will be very handy having a copy of the one with the page numbers on it to make sure the booklets are being assembled in the right order. So you'll want to print out one copy of that for reference. The file that you'll want to print, however, is the one with an X, which is just the pages themselves. There are a couple of tricks to getting these to print correctly, involving some options in the PDF print menu. The first of these is in the page sizing and handling section. This seems to default to the fit option, which will mess up the alignment of the front to back pages if it's not changed. Here you will want to make sure that the actual size option is selected. The next thing to check is in the Pages to Print section. Unless you have a fancy auto-duplexing printer that will print both sides front to back, you're going to want to select Current Page, so that you'll be just printing one side at a time. Again, this defaults to All, so you'll want to change that. So, at this point, you can go ahead and print a copy of the first side. Now, here's another tricky part. You have to figure out how your printer handles the paper, face up or down, top in or out. Mine here works with the printed side up and the top edge in. So, after the first side is printed, you'll want to put that in the way it works for your machine. Now, you'll go to the second page of the PDF file on screen and again launch the print menu, making sure that actual size and current page are selected before hitting print. You'll obviously want to do a test print or two just to check that everything is lining up right before printing a bunch of copies. Once you've printed the front and back sides of the paper, it's time to cut them. There are basically two cuts, 1 1/2 lengthwise and then another cutting those halves in half to end up with quarter pages. This is greatly simplified by having a paper cutter, which can be ordered online for about $30. While it is certainly possible to cut these with a ruler and razor, if you're doing any quantity, the paper cutter will be well worth the investment. When cut, you'll have 4 double-sided quarter-page sheets, each with 2 pages of text on a side. This is when that guide with the page numbers on it comes in handy, because getting these in the right order is remarkably confusing on the first dozen or so copies. Once you have the 4 quarter pages in the right order, fold them in half and put a good crease in on the fold. This will be your guide for lining up the spine of the booklet with the stapler. One advantage of booklets this small is that you can bind them using a standard stapler. But this is another thing that takes a little practice, however. You need to line up the crease in the booklet right where the staples come out. You might want to put a bit of masking tape or something at that point so that you'll be able to line things up right. If properly positioned, the staples will go right through the spine of the booklet and they'll end up nice and flat and even.